In this video, I'll break down my music video editing workflow here in DaVinci Resolve. I'll leave a link in the description for some demo footage if you want to follow along, or otherwise, you can apply this workflow to your own footage. And if you're looking for editing packs to help speed up your workflow, all my editing packs are currently 30% off when you use code FLASH30 at checkout, link in the description below.
You know, once you start, there's no going back.
And there's a link in the description. You can download this footage here. You also get the song and the template file that I'll be using in this video. However, the very first step is generating proxies. I'm gonna go to all programs. I'm gonna type in Blackmagic and then go to proxy generator. Now for this particular footage here, I already re-render it to be a smaller file size, so you really shouldn't need the proxies, but I'm just going through the step to let you know the process that I usually go through. So now I usually use the proxy generator outside of DaVinci Resolve because I can still work on the footage within the edit while the proxies are being generated. Now I can go down here to add, it'll bring up the file explorer and I'll just search for the file. So I'm gonna use the file Masterclass footage, select it and hit like folder. I'm gonna bring it into the generator, then I hit start. So while that's generating, I can go into DaVinci Resolve and continue working on my project. Now I'm going here and hit music video bin file. It's gonna actually open up DaVinci Resolve for me and kind of give me a start to my project. Now DaVinci Resolve opens, I'm gonna click on the edit page, go into my bin, hit this drop down, have the different folders. You have A roll, B roll, drone, overlay, sound effects, so on and so forth. You can reuse these bins too. So say for instance, like branding, this is where you put like your logo, or if you want to create a folder dedicated to a particular client, put their logo or any little sound effects they may have, like little audio tags. You put them here and then go to music video, right click, export bin, just export it to your desktop and then you can reuse it whenever you want to. So now I go back to my Masterclass folder. I'm gonna hit Control A to select all. Then I'm gonna unselect this license agreement and unselect the bin and proxy folder. I'm gonna slide them all to the B-roll folder. And with this footage, I rendered it out to be a smaller file size, so the proxies got done really relatively quickly. This little icon here means the proxies have been generated. And then if you go up here to playback, proxy handling, and then go to preferred proxies, this will enable the proxies for when you're editing your project through the playback. As you can see here, the icon has changed, letting you know that you're now using the proxies. I prefer using the proxy generator again because I can go in here and be editing the video while this is still generated proxy, and once the proxy has been generated, it will just swap out the file. So now that it's done, I can just close this out. Now back in the B-roll folder, I'm gonna hit Control A, select everything, right click. I'm gonna go to create multicam clip. I'm gonna call it the help, the name of the song. I'm gonna leave the frame rate as it is. I'm gonna go to sound to generate the synchronization, and then make sure move source clips to original clip bin. It's selected by default, so you should be good. Then I hit create. It's gonna synchronize all the audio, and then it's gonna tell you at the end what audio did not synchronize. So I'm gonna hit OK. And what did synchronize is in this original folder here. Take it and move it to my A roll. I also take the multicam clip and move it to A roll as well. I'm selecting multicam clip, right click, and then create timeline from multicam clip. Call this the help timeline. So now when you first come in, you'll be greeted with a black screen. I have both monitors on. I'm gonna hit this drop down here and go do multicam. This is the only way you'll be able to view your different angles. And this here will be of course, your timeline display. Every time I've used multicam to edit a video, it's always put the audio as angle 1. I'm gonna go in and do a ripple delete. And when multicam is selected, I'm gonna go up here where you see this little icon where it says video and audio. I'm gonna change it to video only. And then basically what I want to do is go through and play the song and make my cuts. And before I do that, I'm gonna hold Alt and select the video, right click and change this to angle 2. Start with, now this part here is still black because there's no footage here. So once the footage kick in, as you can see, all the angles display as the video plays through. You also knows that it's very smooth. If you have a choppy playback with this, it's used because you're using the full 4K clips, which I actually render this footage out at 1080p just to make the file size smaller. But in my experience, if you're using the 4K clips, or especially if you're using H.265 clips, the playback can get very laggy. That's why I use the proxy generator. So now I'm gonna go down here to the audio track, right click. I think this is a studio only feature though, but this is usually how I do it. I go to show music beats, analyze the song, then you put these little beat markers in the song. Typically you want to stick to about 4, so about every 4 beats I'll make a cut. When you make the cut, you're not really paying attention to what angle you're cutting to. you're just making the cut. I'm gonna start here, and then I'm just hit 2 on the keyboard. Or actually, I'm gonna hit 3 on the keyboard to change that angle. You just hit the number that coincides with the angle. So 3, hit the number 3, 4, so on and so forth. And it only works with the keys at the top of the keyboard, not the 10 keys to the side, unless you've gone through and made custom keyboard shortcuts. All right, now I'm at the end of the song. This part here, I'm just gonna triple delete the back end. And now I have cuts all throughout my song. I think in some parts I probably missed a beat because I had it zoomed in so closely. But you can easily just go back and hover in between the 2 clips and then adjust the timing of that particular clip in between the beats. It'll automatically snap to those beats as long as you have snapping enabled, which is a little magnetic symbol here. Then from here, you pretty much want to do like a quick playback. Just kind of look at the angles, like this angle here. I go back, actually it cuts off, but this angle here is out of focus. So like, don't want to use that. So I'm just gonna go right click and go to multicam angle. I'm gonna switch it to 7. So the first playthrough is basically what you want to do is kind of go through and look at the different angles. Make sure nothing's out of focus. Make sure like make sure the camera angle is not focusing like on the ground when the artist is performing, anything like that. You got a song like this, it's pretty high energy. You really don't have to pay too much close attention to the cuts themselves because it's constantly moving. If I get to this last little angle here, you see he's like it's on his foot for whatever reason. I think that's the cameraman's foot, and then it zooms up to him. So I'm gonna switch that angle to something else. If the playhead is in the middle of the clip and you hear the new number, it's just gonna make another cut. I'm gonna hit Control Z. You want to make sure the playhead is at the beginning of the clip, and then you want to hit the next angle you want to see. So I'm gonna hit 6, change that whole angle to 6. Once you got all your cuts, you're gonna go through and select them all. Right click, go up to Flatten Multicam Clip. You're gonna go to Retain Grade from Angles. Basically, it's gonna flatten out the clip. It's gonna return this back to actual footage. And the reason I broke it down from a multicam clip back to the original clips, 1, it keeps my cuts, and then 2, it will also make it easier to group the clips together in the color grading process, which we'll get to here shortly. Now I'm gonna go to my B-roll folder, and we got some drone footage here. So I'm actually gonna take this DJI drone footage, put it in the drone folder. It's not really important, but it's there. Drone footage would need some color correcting if you want to use it. It's very warm and very yellowy. I'm gonna go back to my B-roll folder. Definitely want to put some B-roll here at the beginning. And a lot of this B-roll is in 60 frames a second. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find which folder I want to use. I want to use this one when he's walking out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click on this, go to clip attributes, change it from 59.94 to 24, hit OK. Now when you play it back, it's gonna be in slow motion. I'm gonna select this in and out point. So I'm gonna hit out on the keyboard, go through, select the out, well, O for an out point. I'm bringing it down to the timeline. Well, that's just way too long, but I'll hold Alt and delete the sound. And then I'm gonna lock my master track into place, make sure it don't go nowhere. Actually, I'm gonna unlock it first. I'm gonna re-select it and show beats. Then I'm gonna lock it in place again. And this B-roll footage, I can kind of intercut in between, so I can have them come out here. So I can split that, then probably move this down here somewhere. Then have this kind of come in, back to the B-roll, go right to where he is turning, and then cut that. I'm gonna hold Shift and scroll down on my mouse wheel to minimize this. Then just kind of go through and just kind of place your B-roll throughout the clip. If I select the clip here and go to metadata, you'll be able to see the frame rate. So this one here is 23.76. Click on this one here. This is 60 frames a second. And so you don't have to slow it down necessarily if you don't want to. You can just don't want the audio from this. So if I hold Alt and then just bring this to the timeline, it'll just bring the video only. Just kind of like some B-roll footage of the city. A little darker, so yeah, it definitely would need some color correction. And you can leave it. Now, if you want to, you can leave it in regular speed, or you can click on the clip, hit R on the keyboard, turn it down by 40%, and go play in slow motion. Of course, you can chop it up like I did the previous clip and scatter it throughout the video. So the next step is going to be color grading. So I'm going to click on the color page. And before you really get into color grading, you want to go to playback, go to proxy handling, and you want to change this back to camera originals. This will ensure that when you're color grading the footage, you're seeing the footage at its maximum potential, therefore give you the full range of the color grading capabilities. And what I usually do, I'm going to go all the way back to the first clip, click on this and go over here to clips, hit the drop down, and then go down to common media pool source. What that's going to do is going to find every clip within your timeline that's connected to the clip that you originally selected. All 3 of these are my B-roll shot. I'm going to select them all, right click, and then I'm going to go to add into a new group. I'm gonna call it B-roll 1, and then hit OK. Then I'm gonna go back to all clips, go to this next clip here, repeat that process. Go to back up here to clips, hit the drop down, come in media pool source. So this all the clips in my timeline come from this one original clip. Hit Control A, right click, add into a new group. And I call it A-roll 1 for simple purposes. And hit OK. Now when you put in the clips into groups, if you click on the clip and you see this little chain here, that means it's in the group. So click on here, chain, chain. Click on the one I don't see with a chain. B-roll here. This is not a chain, so I need to add these two. That's in a group. This is not in a group. Once I add this in a group, I think that'd be pretty much all of them with the exception of the B-roll. Now, if you're creating groups and you want to just add a single video to a already pre-established group, just right click, go up to groups, and I want to add this to group 3. So I'm gonna hover over it, then I'm gonna select assign to group. That is in group 3. Now, this grouping process is not absolutely necessary. It all depends on how you want to color grade your clips. You may just want to convert it to Rec 709, maybe do a couple of exposures and be done with it. Then you really just can just convert it all and just go on clip by clip. Now, if you don't want to use groups, you can also just change the clip color. So if I go up to clips, go to common media source, I can then select these clips by hitting Control A, right click. I can go to clip color, select the clip. That way all the clips that are orange will all be from one file source, or I can flag the clips. So if I go back to color and I just change this to lime, all these clips will have this little lime dot. The color of the clip will reflect in the edit page as well. It just really depends on your workflow. Now, first thing first, I'm gonna convert this to Rec 709. So I'm actually going to my gallery. I'm gonna go grab my power grade. This power grade is available on my Discord. There'll be a link in the description for that as well. Drag it over. I'm gonna close the gallery, and then I'm going to Rec 709. And I'm gonna set this up. This is all S-Log footage. So I'm gonna tell this S-Log 73, S-Log 3, or this to DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. Then I go to the color space transform at the end of my clip and select DaVinci Wide Gamut, DaVinci Intermediate, and we're gonna convert this to Rec 709 and then Rec 709, or not Rec 709, but Gamma 2.4. Now I'm mistaken on the output gamma, you actually convert this to Rec 709A if you're on Mac. Yeah, if you're on Mac, you'll select Rec 709A. So now my footage is converted to Rec 709. So what I'm gonna do is now go down here to clips, hit Control A to select everything. I click the mouse button in to replace the grade throughout the entire timeline, hit replace. So now everything's been converted to Rec 709. And like I said, depending on your workflow, you can just do it and be done with it. This one is a little bit warmer. You might want to do some color correction with it or what have you. Maybe throw a LUT or two in. I have released a LUT pack. Go into vibe check LUTs. Now go to the outdoors LUT. Like this one here. I like my footage to be a little darker. Look at a couple of other ones. This one here kind of have like a more filmy look to it. All these look kind of pretty decent. Go back up here to the top now. And on my node tree where it says LUT, I'm just going to double click to apply it. Close the gallery and hit play. So that looks pretty good. I'll probably go to exposure here and then go to HDR and then turn the exposure up just a little bit. Then I might go to the white balance. In my white balance node, I actually have it right click. I have it set to gamma, set to linear. So I can just move this gain wheel here and kind of move the information more in the center based on this vector scope. I want most of the white to be right here and smack dab in the center. So I'm just gonna move this over right there. And it looks pretty good. So now I can go up here to clips, go down to groups. I'm gonna go to A-roll. And so now I need to apply that grade to each one of the clips. So just select A and then click the mouse wheel again to apply that same grade. And that's ultimately the reason why I group my clips together. That way I can go through all the trouble of applying a grade and only one clip, and then I can just click the mouse button and apply it to the others. Then when I'm done with that, go back to group, go to A-roll 2. I'm not gonna go through all the clips. This is gonna be the last one I do here. It's like this one here, like this really warm looking. To go to white balance node, you see most of the information is right here. I'm gonna take the gain once again, kind of move it down, put about right center. That's about right. Kind of washed out, so I'm gonna go into saturation. My saturation node, get the color space set to HSV. I'm sorry. Then I got the channels 1 and 2 cut off. So I go to my gain wheel, turn this up. I'm gonna add some saturation. too much. Go back to exposure, HDR. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Then I'm gonna go to the contrast node, click on curves. I used to try to preserve the skin tones. I'll zoom in, click here to get like a middle space. Then I kind of make some little bit of adjustments here and there. Then I might go back into my LUT pack, kind of like this here. So I'm gonna double click that. It's a little bit too strong, so I'm gonna go down here to key. Again, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I should probably go back to my saturation node, turn down the saturation just a little bit. That way I let the node do the saturation. Then once again, select that clip, hit Control A, click on the mouse button, you get the little warning message and hit replace. Now that grade is applied to all the clips. And these clips here, with it being so bright, you might want to do some extra color correction or color grading within the nodes, like something like with the highlights. If I go to the highlight node here and then go to qualifier, click luminosity only. Down here where it says low, I'm gonna double click and type in 60. Tab over to soft and type in 20. If I hit Shift H, you'll see that we isolated the highlights. I'm gonna hit Shift H again and just turn down the shift a little bit. It's gonna kind of bring a little bit of that back in. It's not gonna help out too much. You can see here, you can see a little bit of the colors. If I deactivate this, see a little bit of the color coming back now. Kind of saved a little bit of that. Go back to edit page, you're gonna throw in a couple of effects. Of course, I'm gonna use my own editing pack, so I'm gonna go to effects. We'll click on the toolbar here. I'm gonna type in Godsend. So I'll go through my titles here. I'm gonna go through and I think I'm gonna go with title 21. I'll change the name to the artist name, title to the help, name of the song. If I scroll down here to the credits, I'll just go through and delete those. Then right here is right when the bass drop for the first verse to start. I actually move my B-roll over here, cover that up. Then I'll probably go, I'm gonna hit Control Space, grab an adjustment clip, hit Control D. I'm gonna change it to probably about 8 frames. I place it on the end of this here and hit the period key 4 times, so 1, 2, 4. Make sure it's evenly split. Then I go back up here to effects. I'm gonna type in rapid movement. I grab something like grab this lens blur and add it to the adjustment clip. That'll create a quick transition for me. Right here's the busting and silly, so I'm actually gonna grab another adjustment clip. I'm gonna shorten it down to about 10 frames. So click on the frames, 10. When I hit Control and Space, I'm gonna type in Rumble. I have a full camera shake pack called Rumble Pack, but I also have a Rumble preset within the Essentials pack. I'm gonna grab the Rumble pack here. This is actually gonna create a camera shake and a flash transition. And of course, it doesn't use a single keyframe. So go back to my Essentials pack. This clip here, I'm gonna turn into a fisheye. Add that to it, and then I go to the effects tab, and I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. There's a little random effect I can throw in. And for like this B-roll clip, I might go in and grab a VHS effect. And the effect here is a little strong, so I'm gonna turn down the see-through rate. Go over here to the TV effect and turn down the power. Then I'm gonna turn on the scan lines. I go to this clip here, and I'm gonna grab the slow shutter and apply that to this. That's pretty much enough of that for now. So we're gonna go to Deliver tab, go up here to the drop down. I'm gonna go to 124 render, use the same settings. Actually, I did add these settings to the Essential pack as well, but to go over them real quick is MP4, H.265. If you have an encoder, a video encoder, I have the NVIDIA one. I have it set to that. Network optimization is not on. Timeline resolution, which these clips here, like I said, I rendered out at 1080p. The frame rate is 24 FPS. Encoding profile, I got it set to main 10. This is automatic recording. I got restriction set to 55,000, which is, I think, is a little bit of overkill, but it is what it is. Rate control is variable. Preset set to medium. High quality. Under advanced settings, I have color space at Rec 709 2.4. Again, if you're on Mac, you're gonna select Rec 709A for your gamma tag to prevent from any gamma shift in your color. Then add it to the queue. Find somewhere to save it, render it, and you're done.